Hey, mighty companions, welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles with Earl Purdy. And we're going to be talking about how you're going to allow some peace to extend from you to other people around you when there's a lot of conflict. And when you're having any kind of problems about anything, I'm going to share with you from A Course in Miracles what you're supposed to say to yourself in order to allow yourself to have more peace of mind and have the blocks removed. So stick around. I'm going to start out with a song from Brother John Christmas at johnChristmas.com from the Course in Miracles before we dive into this very powerful section. All right, I'm looking forward to doing it. Here we go.
There's a call for a God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared, and everything is turning upside down. But the words I hear, they keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Now let's come together and understand that love was born inside of every man. He's waiting for us to choose him as ourselves. When you choose him, you know you choose me too. And everyone becomes a part of you. And then you will know that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Oh, we are one.
I'm Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. And you just have to remember that we are going to go very practical in this particular presentation. I'm going to tell you exactly from the Course what you should be saying in any situation that's taking your peace away. Anything that's giving you concern or worry. I'm going to go over what some of the things that the Course in Miracles says that you need to say to yourself. We're going to be on lesson 82 in the Course in Miracles workbook. That's where we're going to start. Yes.
You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around Yeah, yeah, we are one. Oh, oh, we are one. I am you, and you are me.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That's Brother John Christmas at johnchristmas.com. If you want that music, that's where you get it. Yes. Hey, I'm Earl Purdy, and I've been teaching and learning the Course in Miracles for 40 years. For the last 32 years of my life, I have taught the Course in Miracles as my full-time expression of myself in the world. It moved me so much that I dedicated my life to being a teacher of A Course in Miracles. And my function and my desire is to save you time, because the Course in Miracles teaches that the purpose of a relationship is to save time. So I've done 40 years for you. So if you're open and receptive, it's a possibility that I could be helpful in your journey through the Course in Miracles, which is your journey to miracles and expressions of love. I call myself the divine repetition teacher, the truth remembering teacher, because the Course in Miracles says over and over that it's about remembering the ideas and applying the ideas, using the ideas, remembering the ideas, using the ideas. It's not about analyzing the Course in Miracles. It's about remembering the instructions that you're being given that could allow you to have total fulfillment within yourself and total fulfillment in your life. Do you want total fulfillment? Do you want real happiness? Well, if you want real happiness, then it's going to call for looking at things a different way, a new way, not analyzing everything. So the Course in Miracles has its own guidelines. The Course in Miracles has its own instructions for how to read it and study it. And I'm going to share those guidelines with you right now. I'm going to share those guidelines with you right now. Mighty companion, it is so good to be with you. It's so good to be with you. We are joining on peace and truth and light and joy. Remember only this. Remember only this. And don't forget, if my style of teaching doesn't work for you, it just means I'm possibly not your teacher. And that's okay. That's okay. You just always want to go with the teacher that you resonate with. You don't try to change the teacher into being the way you want the teacher to be. You allow yourself to find and be attracted to the teacher that you resonate with. So I want to thank those of you who are here, whether you're Course in Miracles students or not. But I want you to realize that you can be happy, and you can be happy now. You can be happy now. You can be happy now. Remember only this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome 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 the ideas. Some of the ideas you may actively resist. 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 Did I say some of the ideas you may actively resist? Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe, and others may seem to be quite startling. Some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles may be quite startling. Some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles may be quite startling. Some of the ideas may be quite startling. You're not being asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. Guess what the Course in Miracles says? It says the use of the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you. Using the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you using the ideas. As a matter of fact, the Course in Miracles says their use will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Using the ideas, not analyzing the ideas. I said using the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So it's so good to be with my mighty companions. I do this live instead of pre-recording it so that we can all come together and be online at the same time, even though you can watch the replay on Facebook. And I look at all the comments. So just realize that us coming together at the same time all over the world is a very powerful healing thing to do. The Course in Miracles has its own definitions of the terms that the Course in Miracles uses. And I'm going to substitute some of the terms that the Course in Miracles itself uses for the words that it uses. And this has been found to really help people get a much easier understanding and acceptance of what the Course in Miracles is saying. Like, for instance, one of the Course in Miracles definitions of forgiveness is correct perception. The Course in Miracles forgiveness has nothing to do with trying to overlook what you think someone did to you. That is the world's definition of forgiveness. It is not the Course in Miracles definition of forgiveness. One of the Course in Miracles definitions of forgiveness is correct perception, because the Course in Miracles is teaching that if you have a correct, loving perception, that is forgiveness, because you'll be looking at whatever it is or whoever it is from a place of peace within yourself. The Course in Miracles teaches you how to have correct perception, healing perception, peaceful perception. A Course in Miracles works at the level of your perception. The Course in Miracles is working at the level of your thinking and your mind and your perception. The Course in Miracles focus is not on the effect level. It doesn't focus on the effects of your personal world. It's trying to give you the ability to get in touch with the part of your mind and your perception that creates the way you see your personal world. Because all of your feelings are coming from the meanings that you are giving to everything in your experience. All of your feelings are not coming from the actual thing you think you're upset about. Your feelings are coming from the way you are seeing whatever it is you're making yourself upset about. So don't forget, when we're studying A Course in Miracles, we're working on the mind. We're working on our perception. We're working on changing the way that we see things. And you don't have to figure out the correct way to see things. A Course in Miracles within the material itself gives you new interpretations that you can use. I'm going to be working out of the Course in Miracles workbook. The Course in Miracles has 3 parts. The text, which is the theoretical foundation of the whole material. The workbook, and the workbook exercises show you how to apply the teachings in your day-to-day experience so that the Course in Miracles will have real positive effect in your everyday life. There's nothing more important than doing the workbook of A Course in Miracles. If you really want to be able to live it and get the benefits of it in your everyday life, there's nothing more important than doing the workbook lessons and applying the workbook lessons. If you really want to see the Course in Miracles work in your everyday life, it's about doing the workbook. It's 1 lesson, for every day of the year. And the other part of the Course in Miracles is the manual for teachers, which is actually where I always recommend new students start, because the manual for teachers in A Course in Miracles explains a lot of the terminology and the meaning of the terminology in the Course, so that when you read the text, it will be a lot easier for you to follow it. So I'm going to start on lesson 82. I'm going to be working with lesson 82 on page 147 in the Course in Miracles workbook section of the book. It's like 3 books in one. Page 147, lesson 82. And what I'm going to do is show you how to apply the Course in Miracles to situations that you're going through right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to think of a situation in your life right now, something that you know that is causing you worry and concern, some situation or some person that you know you need to forgive, which means you need to see them another way. And I want you to think of that person. Let's make this practical tonight. And I'm going to go through this and I'm going to show you a way to do it that will give it much more power. If you're ready for peace, this is going to be the first step to doing that. It is so good to be with you. I'm so glad that we're here together. I'm so glad that we allow ourselves to meet like this. And so here we go. Here we go. Lesson 82 is a review section. It says, the light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. Through my forgiveness. And I'm going to apply it to you right now. I'm going to say it again. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through your forgiveness. So you are the light of the world. What does that mean when the Course says you are the light of the world? It means you are the presence of love and the presence of truth in the world. You are the light. We are the light of the world. If there's going to be light, which is love in this world, and sanity in this world, then it's going to have to come through us. It's going to have to come through us. And so you are the light of the world. And you are going to bring peace to every mind through your forgiveness, which is your correct perception. So this is the way you would really see that lesson. It would be, I bring peace to every mind through my correct perception, because you are the light of the world. You are the light. You are the light of the world. And you bring peace to every mind through your correct perception. That's what forgiveness is. It's correct perception. Your correct perception, your forgiveness is the means by which the light of the world finds expression through you. So what does that mean? You could say it this way. Your correct perception is the way by which the truth, the light of the world finds expression through you. So forgiveness is correct perception. 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 So you're going to bring peace to every mind through your correct perception. So you go, well, what is correct perception? The Course in Miracles teaches you what correct perception is. So in your study of the material, you will see exactly what the correct perception is. But for your forgiveness is the means by which the light of the world finds expression. Let me set this up here so I can. Okay, I'm gonna try not to knock this over. Okay. Because I teach out of the book. Even though I've been doing this for 40 years, I work out of the book every single time I teach. And I'll tell you why. Because I've learned that if I can just remember what this teaching is teaching me, And I can remember to tell it to myself. Every time I've done that, I've seen a miracle of healing happen in my life. So you're not talking to somebody that's talking theoretical. You're talking to somebody that's been doing this full time in the world for 4 decades. So you're talking about somebody who's worked with a lot of people, spoke all over the world, learned through a lot of people. And so let me save you some time. Your correct perception is the means by which the light and the truth in you will find expression. Your forgiveness is the means by which you become aware of the light of the world in you. Your correct perception is the way you become aware of the truth of the world in you. Your forgiveness, your correct perception is the means by which the world is healed. So what is going to heal the world according to the Course? Your correct perception is going to heal. Your truth perception, your true perception, your loving perception, your loving interpretation. The Course in Miracles says perception is interpretation. That whatever you're seeing, you are just seeing your interpretation of it. So the Course says your correct perception, your forgiveness is the means by which the world is healed together with yourself. So you say to yourself, this is what you would say to yourself. What would you say to yourself? Let me forgive the world. Let me forgive the world. Let me forgive the world. Now, if you were to allow yourself to repeat a lot of the things that I'm saying to yourself, that would help you remember it, which is the main thing the Course wants you to do, is to remember it. And it's also symbolic of your willingness to have Spirit solve all of your perceptions of problems. So you can spend all your time analyzing this, or you can spend your time listening to the instructions that you're being given and just go ahead and say them and watch miracles begin to happen in your life as you continue to say them and remember them. Remember, I'm here to save you time. And if you are new to A Course in Miracles, or this is the first time you're going through it or really focusing in on it, your understanding is not an important, powerful contribution to the truth. Your understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth. Your understanding this is not a powerful contribution to the truth. Your understanding doesn't make this true, or your lack of understanding doesn't make this true. So this is an easier learning because it's not dependent on your understanding. It's dependent on your remembering what it's saying and then saying it to yourself and others. In most cases, silently, which is even better. Because if you tell yourself the truth silently, then you don't have a lot of opposition from the outer world. You don't have to listen to other people's opinions of what you've just said. So it keeps you stronger in your new idea and new belief. I also use rhythm and music, because that also is a very intuitive right brain way of learning, as well as having the intellect, reasoning, logical left brain side of learning. And besides, I just love to jam. That's just what time it is. So right now, I want you to think of a person that you know that you need to have a more peaceful perception of. Or I want you to think of somebody you know that's in conflict right now, that needs to have more peace of mind. I want you to think of someone right now that's so much going on in the world right now. You may know somebody that you know needs to feel more inner peace right now. I want you to think of that person. I want you to think of that person. And it would be great to think of somebody other than yourself, because most of the time, that's who we are thinking about. Usually, most people are thinking about themselves all day long, most of the time. And you can tell that's true because most people begin every sentence that comes out of their mouth with the word I, with the letter I. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. I like this. I don't like that. I want this. I don't want that. So I want you to think of somebody right now that you need to, and you desire to help them have more peace in their life. And I want you to say this. It's right here in lesson 82. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. Let peace extend from my mind to yours, and then call their name. Okay? You go, let peace extend from my mind to yours. And then say their name. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. And then call that name in your mind. This is what you do. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. 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 Would you do that? Would you be so loving that you would actually think of someone that you know that you'd like to have less fear, less guilt? Somebody you know that you'd like to have more peace, and say right now, let peace extend from my mind to yours. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. And then say that person's name in your mind. Okay? Then, still thinking of that person or another person, say to yourself right now, I share the light of the world with you. I share the light of the world with you. I share the light of the world with you. I share the light of the world with you. Think of that person. Think of that person right now and go, I share the light of the world with you. I share the light of the world with you. I share the light of the world with you. I share the light of the world with you. Do you know you need to take a minute to benefit someone else? And actually, there is no one else. There's just the one self experiencing itself as many. We are one self, but I know it looks like there's a lot more than one of us here, but we are one self. And I want you to think of a situation right now. I want you to think of a situation in your life that you'd like to see differently. And I want you to say from this lesson, through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my correct perception, I can see this situation as it really is, which is a lesson that God would have me learn. All things are lessons that the Creator would have you learn. So through your forgiveness, you can see this as it is. So I want you to think of this situation. You know the situation, and say this to yourself. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Whatever this is that you need to see differently, you want to say, through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my forgiveness, I can see this as it is. Through my correct perception. So through your correct perception, you can see the situation as the situation is. And the Course says, all things, all situations are lessons that God, love, would have you learn. So through your forgiveness, you can see this situation as it really is. Take a deep breath. The next thought that we want to use, because this is a practical application presentation, I'm focusing on the practical application in this presentation. And the next thought that you want to share with yourself right now from A Course in Miracles is this thought right here. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is what you say. Let me not forget my function. 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 Let you not forget your function. Let you not forget your function. Say it to yourself. Let me not forget my function. Why do you want to not forget your function? Why is it that you don't want to forget your function? Because you really want to remember yourself. You really want to remember your true loving self. You really want to remember your true self, your loving self, your fearless self. And if you don't forget your function, you're going to remember that you are love. If you don't forget your function, you're going to remember that you are lovable. If you don't forget your function, you're going to remember that you are loved. And what is your function? Your function is to be the light of the world. What is the light of the world? Someone who is in this world that does not think like this world thinks. Someone who's the light of the world is someone who thinks loving thoughts, peaceful thoughts, true thoughts, thoughts of abundance, thoughts of unity, thoughts of oneness. That's forgiveness. That's what a forgiving person thinks like. And if you would remember that function, then you would remember your divine identity. You would remember your true loving self. But you have to remember one thing, and what is that one thing? That you cannot fulfill your function if you forget your function. If you forget your function, then how are you going to fulfill it? So you cannot fulfill your function, which is to be an expression of truth, to practice seeing this world and everything in it correctly, lovingly, peacefully. That is your function. And you cannot fulfill your function if you forget it. You can't fulfill your function if you forget your function. So if you are attacking someone, cussing someone out, blaming them, projecting on them, are you truly remembering your function at that particular time? No, you're not remembering your function at all. And unless you fulfill your function, what is it that you will not experience unless you fulfill your function? What is it that you just actually won't experience unless you remember your function? Well, unless you fulfill your function, unless you remember your function, which is to correctly perceive forgiveness, then the Course in Miracles says you won't experience the joy that God intends for you. You won't experience the joy that life intends for you. You won't experience the joy the universe intends for you unless you fulfill your function. If you're struggling and you're sad and you're sick and you're angry and you're upset and you don't have any peace in many areas or some areas of your life, well, that's the area of your life that you're not fulfilling your function, where you're not remembering the truth. So unless you fulfill your function, you won't experience the joy that God intends for you. And it's not because God is withholding from you. It's just that if you don't have a peaceful, clear perception, if you don't have a loving mind, then you're in hell. Because all you're doing is thinking of thoughts and feelings and emotions that give you misery and upset and pain. And that's hell. So unless you fulfill your function, and what is your function? To be the light of the world. What is the light of the world? Somebody who's seeing the world in a correct, loving, peaceful way. Unless you do that, you won't experience the joy that love intends for you to have. Do you know that love is the same as joy? There's no such thing as saying that you're in love and you have no joy and you have no happiness, according to A Course in Miracles, which I said earlier that you need not believe, that you need not accept, that some of the stuff you might resist. I've already told you that. But that doesn't mean what I'm saying isn't true just because you may have some resistance. And then some of you, what I'm saying thrills you and it turns you totally on. And that's okay too. So I want you to think of a situation in your life that you know you need to see differently. And we're gonna use some ideas that apply specifically to situations that you know you need to see differently. And it says, let me not use this situation to hide my function from me. Tell yourself, let me not use this, whatever it is, whatever you're going through, Let me not use this to hide my function from me. Say that to yourself. Let me not use this to hide my function from me. Let me not use this to hide my function from me. Let me not use this situation at work to hide my function from me. Let me not use my financial situation to hide my function from me. Let me not use my relationship to hide my function from me. Let me not use my job and my health to hide my function from me. Let me not use this, whatever it is, whatever you're going through, tell yourself, let me not use this to hide my function from me. Next, tell yourself, I would use this, whatever it is you're going through, I would use this as an opportunity. So does that mean that whatever you are going through, whatever this situation or relationship that you're in right now, that it is that you want to use this as an opportunity? I want to use this as an opportunity. I would use this, whatever it is, as an opportunity to fulfill my function. I want to use this situation that I'm in right now, this situation that I'm dealing with, as an opportunity to fulfill my function. Say that to yourself. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. I will use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. You would use this as an opportunity to fulfill your function. You will use this as an opportunity to fulfill your function. You would use this as an opportunity to fulfill your function. Say it to yourself. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. Whatever you're dealing with right now, I don't care what that situation or what that relationship is that you're dealing with right now. It could be at a crisis level, but you are to say to yourself, I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. I will use this situation as an opportunity to fulfill my function. I'll use this situation that I'm in right now as an opportunity to fulfill my function. I will use this relationship that I'm in right now as an opportunity to fulfill my function. To fulfill my function. I will use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. To fulfill my function. You will use this as an opportunity. You will use this situation that you're in as an opportunity. You will use this situation that's presenting itself to you right now as an opportunity to fulfill your function, to fulfill your function, fulfill your function. Then the next one is, this may threaten my ego. This situation, circumstance, this may be threatening my sense of conditioning. This situation may be threatening my ego, who I think I am, but cannot change my function in any way. This may threaten my ego, but it cannot change my function in any way. This situation may threaten my fearful, frightened mind, but cannot change my function in any way. Tell yourself, this may threaten my ego. This may threaten my ego. This situation may threaten my ego, but cannot change my function in any way. This is the practical application of the ideas in A Course in Miracles. We are not analyzing them. We are just following the instructions that we are being given. And your willingness to follow these instructions signifies that you are willing to have Spirit heal the situation in your perception, in your life. Because we all got situations that we're dealing with. And that's what I'm doing right now. We are giving this a practical application. This is practical application of the ideas in A Course in Miracles. Let me not forget my function. Let you not forget your function. You wouldn't forget your function because you want to remember yourself. You can't fulfill your function. Do you know you can't fulfill your function if you forget your function? Do you know that unless you fulfill your function, you won't experience the joy that the Creator intends for you? Unless you fulfill your function of learning how to see things lovingly, peacefully, you cannot experience the joy that love intends for you. So don't forget to tell yourself, let me not use this to hide my function from me. I would use this as an opportunity to fulfill my function. This may threaten my ego, but cannot change my function in any way. So let's go to the next one. So what is the next idea? Lesson 83. What's the next idea? My only function is the one God gave me. My only function is the one God gave me. My only function is the one God gave me. My only function is the one God gave me. My only function is the one God gave me. My only function is the one God gave me. So what is that? What is that saying? Your only function is the function God gave you. Your only real function is the function that your Creator gave you. Your only real function is not the functions you are making up. Your real function may have nothing to do with the functions that you are making up are your functions. The functions that you are making up for yourself may not be your function. Your only function is to be the love and the truth and the peace in the world. That's your function. And you become a loving, peaceful presence in the world by studying some spiritual truth, whether it's the Course in Miracles or something else, and then learning the principles and thoughts that come from love and use those thoughts. And the Course in Miracles is full of the thoughts you're supposed to think in order to produce happiness and peace in your life. So your only function is to be the light of the world. That is the function that love gave you. For you to be somebody here that's not crazy. For you to be somebody here that's sane. Somebody here that thinks thoughts of truth and love and not thoughts of anger, projection, guilt, and blame. If you do that, the Course in Miracles says that God's life universe will give you what you need to stay. It will give you everything that you need to have while you're here. If you would be willing to fulfill your real function and not the functions that you're making up that are not really satisfying you anyway. So the Course in Miracles says you don't have any function but the function that God gave you, the function that truth gave you, the function that love gave you. So if you were to recognize that, what would it do? If you were to recognize that you have no function but to be the correct perceiver of the world, that you're here to learn how to see things in a different way, the Course in Miracles says that would release you from all conflict. Seeing things correctly would release you from all conflict. Having the right interpretation of everything that's happening in your life and in anybody else's life would release you from conflict. The Course in Miracles says it would release you from all conflict. That if you were truly forgiving, seeing correctly, then it would release you from every conflict that you think you have. All the fear, all the pain, any upset that you're feeling right now is coming because you're not fulfilling your function. And your function is to learn how to see things in a new way, a correct way, a peaceful way. That is your function. And it will release you from all conflict. And if you have just one goal, if you have just one purpose, to be the light of the world, to be the sanity in this world, that you will be one person with a sane mind in this world, the Course in Miracles says, then you don't have conflicting goals. I'm on this planet for one reason. I'm on this planet to be a voice for love. I'm here to be a teacher and a demonstrator of God, which is love. And that's your function too, by the way. I'm not special. We all have our own unique ways of fulfilling and expressing our function. That's what I love about being an astrologer and a numerologist, is because it points out the individual unique ways that we are to fulfill our function in the world and allow ourselves to receive and have peace through it. Because God and truth and life, which are the same things, they are our only healer. So how do you become always certain what to do? And how do you become always certain about what to say and what to think? How do you become certain what to do? How do you become certain about what to say? And how do you become certain about what to think? Would you like to be certain about what to think? Would you like to be certain, have no doubt about what to do? Would you like to have no doubt about what to say? Would you like to have no doubt about what to think? Well, if you just have one purpose, if you just have one thing that you're remembering, one main goal that you're focusing on, one main purpose, then you know what to say, what to do, and what to think. Because the Course in Miracles is teaching you what a loving mind says, it's teaching you what a sane mind thinks, and the Course in Miracles is teaching you what a sane mind does, what it says, what it thinks, and what it does. And so if your purpose is peace, if your purpose is forgiveness, if your purpose is truth, if your purpose is freedom, if your goal is God, if your goal is love, then you will be always certain what to do, what to say, and what to think in any situation, in any circumstance, and with any person. All doubt must disappear. So how do you make your doubt disappear? How do you get rid of all doubt? All you have to do, according to A Course in Miracles, for all of your doubt to disappear, all you have to do is acknowledge. So what is it that you need to acknowledge to have all your doubt disappear? Well, you need to acknowledge that your only function is the function God gave you. Acknowledge that your only function, which is forgiveness and correct perception, achieving correct perception, being a loving, truth, sane presence in this world, that is your function, to see things from another way, to see things differently from the way fearful, asleep, unconscious people see things. So how can you tell when you're in the presence of someone that is unconscious? How can you tell when you're in the presence of someone who is full of fear and separation and who's not fulfilling their function? Well, it's easy. It's easy. If you're in the presence of someone that's not really fulfilling their function, that person is afraid, suspicious, angry, distrustful. A person that's asleep doesn't take any real responsibility for their experience, and they believe everybody else around them needs to change in order for them to be happy. If you know people like that, if you express yourself like that, then that's a sign that you're not fulfilling your function, that you are asleep. That's why you are struggling. That's why that person is struggling. So I want you to think about a situation that you know you need to see differently. A situation that you know you don't like the way you feel. Okay? And then you want to tell yourself, very practical, here it is right here in lesson 83. Tell yourself what? Tell yourself, my perception of this does not change my function. My perception of this does not change my function. My perception of them doesn't change my function. I might have a perception of you that's very ugly, very angry, very fearful, very judgmental. But my perception of you doesn't change my function. My function is to see you as the innocent child of God. My function is to see you as calling for love. My function is to see you as spirit. My function is to not see you as a victim. That's my function, is to see correctly. That's my function, is to be peaceful as I can possibly be. So the Course says, say to yourself, if you're in a situation or circumstance, if you're looking at some person and you know you're feeling less than peace, tell yourself, my perception of this doesn't change my function. My perception of this does not change my function of forgiveness. My perception of this does not change my function of recognizing the truth and using the truth in this situation. My function of this does not change, my perception of this does not change my function. Your perception of this does not change your function. You know that situation that you're thinking of, that way of seeing things that you have about this situation that's causing you pain or upset or worry, that still doesn't change your function. No matter how you feel or no matter how you see things, it doesn't change your function of being a peaceful presence on the planet in this dream. And you learn how to do that through the Course in Miracles and the teachings and the lessons and the exercises that it gives. There's nothing that I'm saying to you that I expect you to be able to pull off perfectly just because we are saying it. It's a process, right? But what's happening right now is I'm giving you the prescription. The Course in Miracles is giving you the prescription. The prescription is giving you the recipe. It's giving you the recipe for peace. This is the recipe. This is like a cookbook from God. This is a recipe for peace. But you can't bake the cake if you don't use the recipe. So you have to use the recipe. But I'm giving you the recipe right now. The next thing to tell yourself is whatever this situation is, whatever the circumstance that you're in, whatever the situation is that's causing you any kind of upset, tell yourself, this does not give me a function other than the one love gave me. Another term for God is love. So I don't care what the situation is that I'm dealing with right now. I don't care if it's a financial situation, a relationship situation, a health situation, a job situation, a career situation. This still doesn't give me any function other than the function that God gave me, which is forgiveness, which is to practice forgiveness and correct perception. Whatever that situation is, whatever that circumstance is, say to yourself right now, let me not use this. Let me not use this. Let me not use this to justify a function that God didn't give me. I'm not going to use this upset right now. I'm not going to use this person right now. I'm not going to use this situation right now to justify a function in being a way that God didn't give me. In other words, I'm not going to use what I'm going through and what I'm upset right now to justify a function that love didn't give me. You know, and the function that love didn't give you is the function of judge. The function that God didn't give you is to be a judge and to judge everything and everyone around you. That is not your function. So don't let yourself use this situation or circumstance to justify a function that God or love didn't give you. Wow. So I want to go back over a quick recap of this. And I want you to know I appreciate your generosity with me. I'm a full-time teacher and I appreciate your generosity. And if you like to share with me and give a financial expression of appreciation, then go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, P-U-R-D-Y, earlpurdy.com. And if you use Venmo or one of those type apps, my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. And I also do one-on-one sessions working with people personally, and I call those sessions clarity sessions. And if the person is open to it, I even bring in my 40-plus years experience as a professional astrologer and numerologist who specializes in soul purpose, bliss, allowing yourself to have happiness. That's an empowerment in your spiritual connection. That's my focus. And so go to my website and look under the Clarity Session tab, and it will give you details about my services, and you can book a session with me, self-book, right there on my website. I have hundreds of classes available on my website, audio and video, that you can listen to at no charge. And I've got over 1,000 videos on YouTube, including all the workbook lessons. You just do a search on Earl Purdy, and you'll see me come up on YouTube. And if there's a workbook lesson, you would just Google Purdy, and then whatever the workbook lesson is, like Purdy, lesson 150. And then it would come up and you could listen to it. I'm here to support. I'm here to support you. And I also have over 100 classes on Facebook and my Facebook Live. So I'm freely giving as best I can what I have to offer. And all of it, and some of it does require financial investment on your part. But all of my videos are free for you to listen to. So I'm here to be truly helpful. I want to fulfill my function of being a light on this planet. Now on Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do another Facebook Live on my Earl Purdy page on Facebook. Follow that page, subscribe to that page so that you can be notified when I go live. And then on Thursday nights, I do what we call right here, right now, at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, Hardcore Course in Miracles, where I'm really wanting to work with Course in Miracles students, beginners on up, who want to take advantage of my 40 years of obsession with this material. All right, so let's do the recap. And please share this video and also listen to it at least 4 times, because I'm telling you, you won't see a change. You are always reacting to your conditioning. And your conditioning is everything that you have experienced since the day you were born. All the opinions, the judgments, the experiences, all the things you've gone through since you've been born has developed what the Course calls the ego. And also your ego is a sense of separation from God and from others. So the point that I'm making is you train yourself, and we're trained to think the way that you think and feel right now. So what you need is another way of looking at things that will give you more joy and happiness and peace. But the Course in Miracles removes the blocks in your own mind and your own thinking that keeps you from hearing the voice of God and love. The Course in Miracles removes those blocks, those patterns, that conditioning that keeps you from being happy. So you need a teacher. You need the teacher, the Holy Spirit, God in you, the divine in you. And I'm here to help facilitate that connection with your own source. I have no interest in being your leader or a follower, and I'm not interested in you being a follower or a leader either. But we can have a wonderful teacher-student connection where I'm as much the student of you as you are of me, and vice versa. But take advantage of the experience that I've had working with this material. You don't have to make a lot of the mistakes that beginners make on their own, and I can help you not do that. So let's take a look at what we covered today as a real couple of minute recap here. Here we go. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through your forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through your forgiveness. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through your forgiveness. Let peace extend from my mind to yours. 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 Let me not forget my function. 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 Let you not forget your function. Let you not forget your function. Let you not forget your function of forgiveness. Tell yourself, my only function is the one God gave me. My only function is the one God gave me. Your only function is the one God gave you. Your only function is the one God gave you. Tell yourself that. Tell yourself that my only function is the one God gave me, and God gave me the function of being sane in an insane world. My function is to have loving thoughts in a fearful world. My function is to learn how to have innocent thoughts in a guilty world. My function is to learn how to have thoughts of unity and oneness in a world of separation and division. If I'm willing to think differently in this world, then I will experience the joy, the abundance, and the health and the life that's been promised. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't make it harder than it is. It's easy. The divine plan is easier than your plan. God's plan is easier than your plan. God's plan is simpler than your plan. And you know your plan isn't God's plan if your plan is not bringing you any level of joy or peace. Or it could possibly mean you're not applying the ideas. You're just listening to them and analyzing them and not really using them. So you want to remind yourself that your only function is the one that God gave you. Mighty companions, I hope this has been as helpful to you as it's been to me. And remember, repetition, 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 repetition. Because you are the light of the world. And I am Earl, and you're the light of the world. And you are a blessing. You are a blessing to me. So, mighty companion, I want you to remember that more than anything, I want you to remember to allow the course to be with you. May the course be with you. Share this video. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time.